John, a lot of times we get questions from insureds asking if they should pay their own workers' comp claims. They feel that any claim payments that are made on their workers' comp policy are going to have an adverse effect on their experienced mod. What are your feelings about that?
You know, it's historically this was a very common practice in the 1990s when the rates were very high and people were desperate to get their mods lower. And in the 90s, insurance carriers actually cooperated with this approach, and they would even tell the employer how much to pay on a fee schedule. But those days are over, and this is something I need to emphasize very strongly. It's a very bad idea to make the payment yourself and keep it off the books. There are a couple of reasons for this. One is, by statute, the insurance carrier has the job of determining compensability of a claim. If they don't get to do their job, and let's say you pay, somebody has a cut and they go to the ER and you pay the bill, and then it becomes infected and there's an amputation 6 weeks down the road, and you try to file a workers' comp claim, the carrier could deny coverage based on the fact that they were not given the opportunity to determine compensability in the first place. So the open-ended liability of paying a claim and keeping it off the books is something I don't think insureds should take on. There's another reason for submitting it to the carrier. We have one of the lowest fee schedules in the country for medical services. So if you send someone to the ER and they get a $400 bill, and you want to pay it yourself, you're going to pay $400. But if you submit it to the carrier, they're going to pay $125. They're going to go to the fee schedule and pay that amount. So in addition to assuming greater liability, it's probably going to cost you more money if you take on, if you try to pay that bill yourself. So it's just not a good idea. Given the low fee schedule, let the carrier take care of it, and it's not going to cost you that much money.
Is it possible to have the carrier to submit the loss to the carrier and then the insured pay for these services?
Or another way of putting that question, Paul, is, will the carrier tell me how much to pay so I can get? Well, in fact, the fee schedule is only available to the carrier. So hospitals will push back and say, we're not going to accept that from you. We would only accept that if this were a workers' comp claim filed through your carrier. So, and secondly, carriers are no longer cooperating on this issue to keep claims off of the books. They want all claims reported. It's not simply out of greed. It's because the frequency and severity of claims, that's the data that generates the information that leads to rate filings. So they want everything to be reported.